In a video about percents, it makes some sense to start off with breaking down the word percent and what it means. So doing that, we've got per, cent, and per is a prefix that means for every. And cent, strangely enough, is also a prefix like centimeter. It means hundred. So you put those together, and percent is a word that means for every 100. It's basically a mathematical tool that we use to describe relationships. We turn any number out of any sample, we turn it into per 100. Let me explain what I mean by that. Let's say that you've got a sample of trees and 13 out of 19 of them are oak trees. And you're trying to tell someone about that, and they're trying to grasp, is that a lot or is that a little? They can kind of picture 13/19ths in their head, but most people are used to thinking about percents. They're used to thinking in terms of out of 100. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that this ratio, this fraction here, we're going to say that it equals 13 over 19. We're going to say that it equals some percent over 100. So I'm going to turn that percent into an x. So I'm going to be solving for x. And when you do that, you can cross multiply. So we're going to have 1300 equals 19x. See how that looks kind of like a bow tie? Anyway, let's do that. So we've got 1300 divided by 19, 68.42%. So 68.4% of that sample are oaks. So that tells someone that if we had 100 trees, 68.4 of them would be oaks. Well, it's kind of hard to have 0.4 of a tree. Let's say that you had another number. Let's say 7 out of the 19 were elms. You could solve that problem. That would give you another percent. And when you add up all your percents, they should add up to 100%. Depending, like I said, the rounding issue right here. Maybe you rounded down here. Maybe you only kept one decimal. So your answer should add up to close to 100%. So that is the is over of trick. It's extremely useful. It's very simple, and it'll solve a lot of ACT type problems for you. So moving right along, let's do that. Let's find some story type problems that you might find on the ACT. I found this website that has example percent problems, and I figured I would borrow a couple. So let me copy this. Oops, and then paste it. And here we go. It says if a discount of 25%, so let me rewrite my is over of equals percent over 100. 25%, so that's going to be this number. And off the retail price of a desk saves him $45. So $45 is what he saved. I would like to know the of part. This is what I want to solve. So I'm going to write this. I'm going to write 45 over x. This time my of is my x equals my percent over 100. So I'm going to have 4,500 equals 25x. So let's do that. 45 times 100 divided by 25, and you get 180. Now, you might be thinking, oh, there's my answer. I see that in my choices. It is 180. So you jump on board and you mark C. And unfortunately, you get it wrong. The reason why is because the 180 is the original price of the desk before you took the 25% off. So how much did this person save? They saved the $45. So how much did they pay? They paid 180 minus 45, and that is $135. So the correct answer here is actually A. So choice C, very nice distractor there. Don't pick it. It's a little tricky. No one said the ACT was going to be easy. So let's go back and let's find an easier one to do. How about this one? What number is 5% of 2,000? So we'll go back here, paste that, And, okay, so we've got our is over of equals percent over 100. So what number is 5%? So that's going to be 5 over 100. And of 2,000. So that's going to go on the bottom here. And we are just looking for x. So we're going to have 2,000 times 5 equals 100x. So let's see, 2,000 times 5, that's 10,000. And that's going to be divided by 100. And I get 100. So the choice there would be B. So sometimes percent problems can be pretty easy. So on your problem sheet, let's do another one. Let's do number 15. Let's see here. 15. Let's paste this. Take a look. It says, at a company fish fry, 1/2 in attendance are employees. So that's an important number. And then 1/3 are spouses. What is the percentage? So what is the percentage of people in attendance who are not in those other two groups? So what we're going to do is we're going to turn both of these into percents. Now you can use the is over of trick, and you could say 1/2 equals x over 100, and for this one you'd have 1/3 equals x over 100. Or maybe you just recognize, oh yeah, 1/2, if you scale that up to 100, you're going to have x is 50. And over here, if you scale this up to 100, you're going to have x is 33.3 repeating. And if you want to go ahead and do that, you can, if you want to prove it to yourself. So if we add those two percentages together, 50 and 33.3, we wind up with 50, 60, 70, 83%. I'm going to ignore the 0.3. I think I can be a little dirty here. So 83% are employees and spouses. So what does that leave? Well, that leaves about 17% others. And that is going to be choice B right here. Why is it 16.7 and I got 17? Well, I ignored that 0.3 up here. So this problem, pretty easy, but you had to do two things before you could get it right. It's kind of like the number one problem. Okay, since I'm under 10 minutes and I have a bunch more problems I can pick, I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to do what is that, number 11 on your sheets? Yeah, I think it's number 11. And we'll see how this one is, if it's easy or hard. Okay, so what is 35% of a number if 12 is 15% of a number? So this part is what we really want, but to do that part, we have to do something with this part first. So we're going to start with this. So 12 is a certain percent of a number. So we've got 1200 equals 15x. So let's see, let's do this here. 12 times 100 divided by 15, we get 80. So x is 80. I'm kind of surprised they didn't throw that in the choices just to mess kids up. Anyway, so if x is 80, now what I want to know, now that I figured out what the number is, and I figured out, I knew that 15% of it was 12, now I want to know what 35% of it is. So I'm going to do another problem. So 35% of 80 is what? So now I've got my new problem here. So this time I'm going to have 80 times 35 divided by 100. So let's do that. 80 times 35 equals, take off a couple of zeros there, and we get 28. So that's going to be choice C. So there you go, closing in on 10 minutes here. Your teacher is going to assign you a certain number of the rest of those percent problems, and they have all the answers, and it's up to them to decide how they want to proceed from here.